the Birmingham Sports Brief. And to start off with, the Birmingham Bulls are currently sitting at third place in the Southern Professional Hockey League behind the Fayetteville Marksmen and the Pensacola Ice Flyers. Friday night, our in-state rivals, the Huntsville Havoc, come to town as we get closer to the chase for the President's Cup. The Birmingham Squadron of the NBA G League fell to the OKC Blue this afternoon. The Squadron are currently fifth place in the Southern Division of the Winter Showcase. And as for the Stallions roster, last Thursday we signed Kenny Robinson out of West Virginia. Um, the kick return king himself is officially back. Dion Kane actually re-signed with the team Thursday as well. He I think ran two kicks back for touchdowns in consecutive games last year, right?
Yeah, and don't forget about Victor Bolden, our deep threat. He
Oh
came
yeah,
back from.
we did re-sign him back, didn't we?
Yep. So now, I mean, both left and right, we're going to have definitely huge threats.
Absolutely. Um, then on Saturday we picked up linebacker Traven Howard from TCU. Besides the Stallions again, what are your favorite teams here in Birmingham?
I definitely love the Barons. Huge baseball guy. Really started in more caring about baseball because really here in Birmingham we had UAB, but we didn't have a lot of football. So definitely we go with the Barons as my second team here in the Birmingham area. Usually year in and year out voted the best stadium in minor league baseball. If you haven't been, you definitely should check it out. I mean, $5 you can get in. It's a great night, but it's a great stadium. A lot of good stuff around it, and then you can't go wrong with a Bulls game. If you haven't checked out a Bulls game just for the sake of fun, I mean, it's $10, $12, $13, something like that. It's a great family night out where it's indoors. So if the weather outside is not that great, you get to go indoors and see. It's decent hockey. I mean, it really is. And just a few years ago, we played Huntsville for the championship for the Governor's Cup.
All right, I've got to ask you, do you think the committee got it right?
Yeah, I do. There's some things that people aren't talking about. This year was actually supposed to be the first year of the 12 team playoffs, but the ACC voted against it, which just happens to be where Florida State is. And then, we'll say many moons ago when Bobby Bowden was still there, he actually came out with a quote that said that he didn't see a championship coming through the SEC because the schedule was just too tough. So for those two things, I say they did. I mean, also they played a losing record. Unfortunately, the ACC was a down conference this year. And when your overall record is 20 games under 500, you don't really necessarily deserve it when, a team that's comparable as far as ranking has one that's probably 20 over 500. I will say this, though. This is the one thing I do think everyone got it wrong. And I know the Heisman Trophy Committee is not part of the NCAA at all. But if a player is good enough that when he gets hurt, he cost you a chance to be in the playoffs, means he was dynamic enough that he should have at least been invited to New York. Exactly. If he meant that much to a team. That's my only stance on that, really, is that, overall, I agree that Louisville, Florida State game was nearly miserable to watch. I mean, it was pretty bad to watch, and no one wants to see that in the playoffs. But if one player is that dynamic and that meaningful that you use that terminology to keep them out of the playoffs, meant he was one of the best, we'll say 5 players in the country.
Right. So you want to tell us a little bit about how the Horsemen got started?
So we had that first season, and we had all these pockets of fans that you would see. Hey, there's a group of 3 or 4 cheering over here, 2 or 3 here. Some people had some signs made, and then we kind of got with the league, and we attempted to become, official. We wanted to be an official fan club because I work in Atlanta a lot, and I go to a lot of games over there, and they have all these official clubs for everything they do. Well, the league was a little apprehensive, like, hey, how are these guys going to act? How's everything going to go out? But we still came together. We convinced them to let us sit in 104 as a complete group to be as loud as possible. And then we found out that the league actually recognizes us as the only, I hate to use the word official, but the only recognized fan club in the USFL right now.